Well, hello there, and let's try that again. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the South African Cricket Podcast. My name is Mpho and Tim. I've got Tim DeLace here with me. What we do on a weekly basis, it's a Monday. We talk all things South African cricket. It's not a victory Monday for the men, but it's a victory Monday for the women. So therefore, it's a victory Monday. So, yeah, welcome to Victory Monday. Well done, Proteas Women, on an amazing win. But you can follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. You can subscribe to our South African Cricket Podcast YouTube channel and also the South African Cricket Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And you can also buy some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod. Tim, how was your weekend?
It was good. I certainly can't complain. And even though the men lost in the final of the series against India, as I said at the time, I wasn't going to be overawed. I wasn't going to be too upset. It's the bigger picture. There's a long way to go. There was plenty I didn't like, but the bigger picture is I'm not overly concerned. So all good despite the loss.
Yeah, no, that's how we feel, and we're going to talk about that. But yeah, first things first, let's go through some of the news that has hit us in the last 48 hours. News coming out of Hampshire. Obviously, Adrian Birrell is stepping down as coach of Hampshire. To my right, it is Hampshire, right? All these counties confuse me. Yes, correct. And they have appointed one Russell Domingo to be coach, former South African coach, current Lions coach. You'll note that I said current, not soon to be ex-Lions coach. He is going to take on full-time coaching role, head coaching role at Hampshire. But here's the twist. The Lions have not sent our coach is leaving message. The Lions are quiet, going about their business. He's currently preparing them for their 4-day series game. And that means that, and obviously stories have it, is that he's going to continue in both roles. So he's going to coach the Lions in our cricketing season, which is the English winter. Once we finished in March, he then flies over to the UK and starts his preparations for the county season that goes from April until August, right? And then when August rolls around, but we never start in August, which is the biggest issue for myself, he's going to fly back to South Africa and coach the Lions. Russell Domingo, you have completed coaching in cricket. I am so happy for you that you have this little situation where for all 12 months of the year, you're coaching a side. You are thinking about cricket, you're coaching. And then on top of that, because it is South Africa, you still get December holidays. December right now, this is the last game of the week. He can go away for as long as he wants. The next game for the Lions is on 31st of Jan. So I'm looking at all the other coaches. I'm like, there's another coach I'd like, but Robbie P does SA20. But, you know, Robbie P, you can add on another English county stint there on the back end. So you go, and it's only because I like you, Robbie P, and you've been on our show, right? So, and yeah I'm just picking on you. But you can go Warriors, August to December, Mumbai, MI Cape Town for Jan and SA20, come back, coach the Warriors until March, and then as your players leave to go to play county cricket, you too go and coach a county there. Quality coaches, right? And I think maybe that's the new model. And I'm assuming Hampshire's not paying him a lot, or might be paying him a slight discount, because obviously if they're paying him full money, well done. Imagine getting in an entire year, you've got 2 jobs and you are getting paid full salaries as though you were an annual employee, you know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he manages that, especially in the off seasons, because there's a lot of movements. We do player movements here right in the middle of the start of their season up until probably May. And then on top of that, he's going to have to do all of that while the Lions are busy trying to get their season started. Look, the Lions lose early in the season. They have a bad start to the season anyway. So he might just, use the time to just, fix everything that's happening at Hampshire. But that's just me. But Tim, what do you make of the news?
So I just assumed that he was leaving South African cricket. I made the assumption that he was going to go full hog 12 months of the year in Hampshire. Their season is a lot longer than ours. Their season is a lot more intense than ours because you're playing virtually every day, every couple of days at least. I made the assumption that was, going to be his primary focus for the 2 years that he signed up for. In the immediate, it's good for South African cricket that he's staying, because I do think if you look at what he's done since arriving at the Lions, you'd have to say he is the best domestic coach of the country. I like Quinton Friend and I like the others, but he's gone and been more successful. He's got more trophies in the cabinet. So it's good for South African cricket that he's staying. It's good for the Lions that he's staying. They need him. My worry, how long is it going to last? My pessimism does come creeping. If we remember, well, let me explain. If we remember, to be fair, it was halfway through Adrian Barrella's reign. He took over at Boland, and he did both. He did both for one season, and then he left. I wonder if that's gonna happen. I wonder if he's gonna do it for one season, and he's gonna realize, even with the breaks that you mentioned, he's gonna realize, actually, this is too much. This is madness. This is really, really intense.
Literally, he becomes a corporate employee.
Yeah. Or is he gonna go, AD and Donald, when we get to the One Day Cup, I'm gonna become the assistant. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I'm still the main man, but logically, you will become the head coach at the end of that, towards the end of that One Day Cup, to give me just a little bit of time to just taper off and relax a little bit without being so hands-on, which gives him a little bit more breathing time. Because there's 4 days between our season ending and the English season starting. Even with the December break, that's a lot to take on. That really is. It's one thing coaching several franchise leagues. Franchise competitions are on for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's completely different. This is a proper, full-on, hands-on job for 6 months versus 6 months. It's really, really good tough. I tip my hat off to him. He deserves it. I wish him the best of luck. I just hope he's going to stay at Lions for the foreseeable, as well as the Hampshire job. I really, really do. It works out that he does both and does both successfully, but we'll see.
The only problem for me as a Lions fan is two, right? It can come across as a little greedy, and some people here at the Lions may feel who are looking to make their way up the coaching ranks. I'm not saying Alan Donald, but like some of the younger coaches who are like, look, there's an opportunity for me to step up into an assistant role and all of that. It can, but that's just general human behavior. I'm not saying there's people there gunning for his job, might not, but it can get tough. The other thing is, this is not the season for us, if I'm a Lions fan, for us to try experimenting with these things. Look, it is his first year, so I'm assuming, because my worry was the preseason for Hampshire. It starts in like Jan. So like I'm sitting there going, you're busy here with the Lions, unless if he's going to fly over during SA20 and kind of set things up and then come back and then focus on the Lions. Because currently the Lions are sitting in second last on the log, right? They're not having the best season. You're a bottom 4 team. You need to avoid relegation. You know, and I think to your point, Tim, about Adrian Burrell and Boland and Hampshire, I'm sitting there going, the Lions are a much well-run organization. Hashim Amla's there as the batting consultant. Alan Donald's there as, I think, senior team bowling coach, but also high-performance coach. He's trying to really unearth the hidden gems in the underlying Gauteng structures, right? And so I don't like. I was happy to have Alan Donald as our coach. Alan Donald and Hashim Amla tag teaming it as well as a coach and assistant coach. Hash is obviously learning his coaching badges. He'd be an amazing coach the moment time comes. I thought it was that opportunity, but look, hey, Russ, what a play! What a play! Just make sure we get us a trophy. That's all I'm asking for. 4-day, 1-day cup, and then you can go and be Hampshire's coach for God knows what, and then come back next season and we do the same thing, right? But the Man City of South African cricket is just breaking coaching cricket again, and hopefully it works. Okay, let's move to the momentum, not the momentum, the Proteas Women. You see, they still need a sponsor, like we do. If you'd like to sponsor the show, please do send us an email at sacricketpod@gmail.com, or you can send us comments and the like. We're receiving a lot of comments, even on YouTube. We're loving the interaction, so please do let us know what you think about Russ. Anyway, Proteas Women with no sponsor are out here preparing for the T20 World Cup in England next year. They've got Ireland here, who aren't the greatest side in the world. That's fine. What are we here to watch? We're trying to see how the batting looks like. You need to be dominant against this Irish bowling attack, and you need to put them away. I'd say, Tim, 200 runs in 2 games on flattish wickets is enough. Is more than like, oh, okay. But here are the things. The person we wanted in the team, Faye Tunnicliffe, hello, obviously got a duck in the first game, but half century yesterday, 51 or 42. Sune Leaf's opening the batting was not on my bingo card for 2025. 37 off of 24. She also scored a half century in the first game. Sune, come to the front of the congregation. You scored 81 off of 51. Just pure dominant. But that's what Sune is. She's a domestic bully. She's bullying Ireland. And I'm happy to see that. Just want confidence, get it through. Again,
Yeah,
sorry,
indeed.
I'm playing with my mic. Last one, Dane for Niekerk. We thought it was the Marazan Cup insurance. No, Dane's coming in here to show us what she's got. And again, if this is the Dane we get, I'm very happy. 41 of 19 yesterday. In the first game, she didn't get to bat a lot. She only faced 8 balls. She scored 21 at a strike rate of 262. If this is your top 4, and then remember, Tasman Brits is injured. Add Tasman in there. Shift everyone down 1. So Laura's going to bat at 4, which I'm okay with, but you can bat at 3 or 4. I don't know. I think Laura bats at 3. Sune comes back to 4. Tasman and Faye open in the batting. Dane is your 5. Marazan is your 6. Doesn't that look like a World Cup winning batting lineup? I know I was skeptical about Dane, but if I'm going to get this, then man, Mandla, you deserve an award, because my word.
Yeah, it's if you said to Mandla, what would you want from the series? Because we knew we were always going to win. That was never going to be in doubt. This is it. What we saw, what we witnessed. People coming into the system, or both back into the system, shall I say, performing. I was so nervous for Faye in the second game. Oh my word, because of the duck at first. We've been talking her up, and she failed in the first game. But so I'm so happy on a more difficult wicket to get that 50, because Dane said at the halfway mark, this pitch is actually, it's a little bit too paced. We know it is. It's Bullard. We know it's more difficult to score freely. And to do that in the fashion, score the milestone, that was great. And you're right. We were both critical of Dane's selection when we felt that there were others that have been doing it on a longer period in the domestic front. But if Dane does what she's done in the last 2 games, then she shut us up. Absolutely. Happy days. Happy days.
And we're happy to have her back. If this is what it is, because when I look at this, there's two changes I'd make to this team. Two changes, right? Shangase comes out, Tasman comes in, top of the order, shift everyone down. Sinalo comes out, Karabo Miso comes in. It's T20, guys. She can play. Karabo can play at 7. And then you have Chloe at 8, Nadine at 9. You have then Mlaba, Kaka in there with Marazan. So you have Aya and Marazan bowling with Nadine as your 3 seamers. You then have Tryon, Mlaba, and off spinner Suneli's 2 wickets in the first over doing her thing. And yeah, there we are. And I think that's a much stronger side. You can lose wickets up top. You know that you've got batting until 9, right? Teams are going to fear you because of that. And then from a bowling perspective, that's what you get. Outside of getting ourselves a pacer who can bowl at around 110 mark. I know it's Ayanda Subi. She needs to be in and around this team. But between Masabata and Ayabonga Kaka, I'm willing to swap that axis a lot more. But for me, that's where I'm at. And I like it. We might need a black batter in the top 6. Karabo Miso covers you. And then you push Marazana a lot further down the order, which would make sense, right? But then you can play around with Faye, Sune, and you've got options. And I think Mandla's most important thing in the last World Cup was he ran out of options. Anna Kabosh wasn't playing well. Anri Dirksen wasn't playing well, even though she played well in the final. But he ran out of options. You kind of are stuck with an 11. Here, you can have a squad of 15, similar to the Proteas men, and you can move people around as and when you need it. There's still room for Shangase. There's still room for Masabata class. There's still room for a Sinalo Jata in the team if you want proper glove work, or you know, because Sinalo's game is more getting the girls up and reading the game and seeing the game and trying to get players out. She's really strong at that. Karabo's still learning that, right? But on top of that, Karabo brings a little bit more batting. Sinalo's batting has improved, so I'd still keep her in there. But for me, you have a squad mentality and you rotate and you play rather than necessarily just doing that stuff. The only other person is I'd like to see Seshni Naidu. I really want her to see her play in this series. I think she'd be very important from us from a wicket-taking perspective. And if Nondu's going to bat as low as she is, rather give me Seshni. Right? And yeah, we're getting back to some sort of a golden generation with the batting, and long may it continue. I'm really happy. Ireland, we're going to start playing the ODIs as well. I'm not too phased about the ODIs, but I'd like to see more new blood. Still like to see Faye continue there. I still like to see Garbo get more game time in the 50-over game. And maybe try this lineup out as well in the 50-over game, because I think if you give these guys a lot of time, they can destroy teams.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I think that I think it's what we saw is what we needed to see from this team. And you're right. I think that this Ireland setup, I think that they're improving with every game. I think that they're showing that they've got a very important competition coming up for themselves for the qualification for the World Cup. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh, but it's Ireland." You can only do what you are given. You can only perform against what you're given. So there will be tougher tests, no doubt, absolutely. And we will see how they go on. But first step at the beginning of the international summer, job done.
Yes, job done. And look, full strength team, like the big bash is still going on, and you know, everyone's here. That says a lot about what Mandla's building. So there's a lot of cooking here, and I think there's a lot more World Cup finals in our horizon. Especially, I think Dane just makes more sense, and good pick for Mandla. Yes, she was dominating domestic cricket. I was just worried about the culture. I was just worried about how the culture was going to mesh. I wanted younger people to give younger players an opportunity. But if Dane is going to give us this, not 22 or 21 or whatever it is, then happiness. And that's what you expect against Ireland. You got to boss them. You got to control the game. So, yeah, that's the one. I think the other one I'd like to see, look, letting them bat first and having them bowled out for 136 is not going to work. Right? I was thinking about this yesterday. We have to win the toss and bat first. I'm sorry to the Irish, but our biggest issue is getting runs under the belt. So if we can put runs under, decent bowling, then yeah, I'd do that. Like, I don't want the game to end and you're chasing 100. It doesn't serve anybody an opportunity, right? Ireland get a full 20 to bat in the second innings, and they can have added one, because rather it be like, okay, we're chasing 200, but can we get to 150? That type of thing, right? And for me, that's more important for Ireland rather than the Proteas bowling them out and cheaply and us not having enough of a practice. So that's what it is. Okay. The Proteas men are out there in India. India won a series. Well done to India. The one-day series. The World Cup's in 2 years' time. I'm not worried about this series. We're not gonna look back on this series if something dramatic happens in 2027. But this series gave us a lot of talking points, right? South Africa won the second game in Raipur. They chased down 358. They scored 362 in that innings. Kohli scored 100. Gaikwad scored 100. KL Rahul scored 66. 358, you were like, yeah, no, South Africa's in trouble. We didn't think we'd get out of here. But Aiden Markram scored the solitary 100, backed up by Bavuma with a 46 of 48. Britsky 68 of 64. Brevis 54 of 34. And he had cameos from Dezorzi 17 of 11. And Bosch 29 of 15. With Keshav 10 of 14. Remember Keshav? To get us over the line. Really, really important innings, because it kind of proved that you don't need to go. There's a few guys who can go at it, but this is how you kind of build. And this is where modern ODI cricket is going. You need to score around 320 plus, and then you just have to find a way and hope your bowlers can do it. The pitches are much better for guys batting second. The pitches are holding true for 100 overs. There's not a lot of deterioration. And so it's really hard going for the bowlers and in this modern version of ODI cricket. However, Tim, the decider was a damn squib. South Africa put into bat 106 from Quinton, 48 from Timber, as expected, 24 from Matthew Bretsky, first score where he didn't do much. A 1 from Aiden Markram batting at 5. Deva Brevis at 29. Then Mark Jansen 17 of 15. Keshav 20 of 29. And we ended up with 270. India got there with 10 and a half overs to go. Jaiswal 116. Sharma 75. Virat Kohli 65. There's a question around the bowling. And I think without Kagiso Rabada, we can't truly see what this team is. But you kind of get a sense that without him, we're looking for that out-and-out pacer that can do it. I'm looking at Anush Nokia. I'm looking at you, Anush. You're the type of guy that can get us that thing. Marco is that guy too, but he has his moments. There's a consistency issue with Marco up and down, especially in white ball cricket. Red ball cricket, we trust it. But the batting, we've seen 3 different opening pairings. Markram, Rickleton, Quinton, Markram, Quinton, Rickleton. Which one do you like, Tim?
Quinton Markram. And it should be a subtle. There should be no. There will be a discussion, but there should be no discussion. It should be the end of the story. I did say the last time we chatted, I said Ricks is the one that's going to sit out for me, and I'm more happier. At the time, I wasn't that fussed, but I actually am a lot more fussed now. I'm much more happy with Timber batting 1 down, being a stabilizer, particularly in an ODI. I'm very happy because that's what he could do. He's very, very accomplished and solid and able to be the guy that we work around if we happen to lose an early wicket. If one of the openers goes out early, he's very, very accomplished at doing that job. He does it at the tests. he's just the rock of our side in so many ways. I did say it at the time, and it still stands by it, the non-negotiable is Quinton as an opener. That is non-negotiable. There is no, as far as I'm concerned, there should be absolutely no discussion. He's back at the side. That's where he bats. I don't want to hear about, no, we must batten down the order. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. All those people that say, I know it's one game, but it's not just one game. It's a continuation of when his form slipped. When his form slipped in recent times. I know overall it's decent, but when his form slipped in recent times, he's better in the middle order. Markram. Don't want to see Markram in the middle order. Markram needs to have the freedom to go and attack the opposition. He needs the freedom to be able to play that way. He struggles when we have to build around him. That's what he struggles when we have to do that. Timber doesn't. So surely you go with that combination.
Yeah, no, and I think that's fair. I think for me, I'm just sitting with Quinton and Markram. It gives us the opportunity to have fast starts, right? And also a yin and a yang, left and right, someone a little bit more traditional, someone a little bit more explosive. And I think Markram is an opener in all forms of cricket. T20, yes, we're going to have our issues, but I think he should open too. I think he's comfortable there. It's probably his best place. Yes, he's going to be, when Timber leaves, going to be the best batter in the side, but we shouldn't feel like we need to drop him down the order, right? So that for me is one. I look at Ricks and I am devastated. Completely devastated. This lack of runs since he scored that double century. Yes, he scored some runs in Pakistan, and he's been in around, and he's been such a foundational rock at the top of the order across two of the three T20s. He's just fallen off a cliff. But this is the second side he's getting dropped from. Well, not dropped, but being benched. Because if I'm having to pick a strong squad, he's not in. He's in the squad, he's not in the 11. And I'm like, I hope he finds it at SA20 and it goes into the West Indies series and the One Day Cup. And I hope he actually has a full One Day Cup for the Lions. I'm not sure if he'll be able to, because I know the West Indies come straight after, but I'm not sure if we're focusing on T20s there alone. I think we are. So I don't think he's going to be playing there. But if he does well in SA20, he might well be there. But I kind of feel like Ricks needs to find himself again. And is it a motivation thing? I'm not so sure. Because when he was hungry to get into the Proteas, he was scoring the runs. When he got an opportunity, he scored the runs. And now it's a question of, is international cricket kind of getting to know Ryan Rickleton better, and people are setting better fields? Because it's been a bit of a struggle for Ryan, and I feel for him. The other thing is, I'm happy Timber's back. He looks good. Those 48s, those 40s, yes, we want big scores, but with the batters around him who are more modern in their approach and more aggressive in their approach, 48s for 40 balls, that effectively is 7-8 overs. He's literally taking out close to a fifth of the innings, just with him just moving the ball around. And then everyone else is trying to peak, right? And he's the foundation layer, as you said, Tim. So I'm really happy with that. The next question I want from you, Tim, is Britsky and Trevor Brevis. Is this a set thing? Are we not going to want Miller to come back into the side? Are you happy to go with these two all the way to the World Cup?
The short answer is no. I'm very happy with Britsky's progress. I really am. Britsky is the one for me where when contracts come up, I'm going, you know what? I think you deserve one. I think your progress, I want to see more, but I do think your progress deserves a central contract. So he's done. He's nailed in, sorted, very happy. Brevis needs to learn. He still needs to learn the way to play one-day cricket. 9 matches in one-day cricket, an average of around 25, 26, if I've got my numbers correctly. At the final exposed that we were 234 for 5 after 38 overs, or just shy of 38 overs, because we were about to lose them. From that moment in that final, with 5 wickets down, it's a little bit tricky, but you're saying to yourself, you should be saying to yourself, 320. 320, that's a decent total. It's probably 20 short, but if we can get to 320 and maybe the last 10 balls go really push it, if we've still got Rivers at the end, there's a break in play, and it's a first ball from Kuldeep. From the break, it's a googly, and he has a wild hack. He doesn't drive. It's not an edge to slip. He has a wild T20 swish. He still needs to work out the way that you need to build in ODI cricket. You still need time to build an innings. I thought that he played pretty well for his 20-odd, but he still gave it away. And we still see that too much in this format in particular. Nice starts, good impact in terms of putting the pressure on the bowler, but it's not long enough. He's not the guy that's coming in at 7 and having free reign. That's not his role. His role when he's batting is, we need to bat longer. He needs to make runs. We need to make 60. We need to make 70 from his position. Look, time is still in his hands. I like a lot of what he's done. I like the positivity, but it needs to happen for a longer period.
Yeah.
You can't have
game situation,
flashy
gameplay,
20s,
right?
Yeah, you can't have flashy 20s in ODI cricket. Doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't. T20s, yes, just game awareness, and the ability to also understand that you can see off bowlers, right? You can see off an over. The next over, you're back there, right? You've got 50 overs at this. You don't have 20, right? And so it's just a little bit of a difference because it is frustrating, right? I love it when he plays well when we have a foundation. When we're behind the run rate, I don't think he's the player that's going to get us back on it. Like what KL Rahul's doing for India, right? KL Rahul is the opener in Test match cricket, middle order, lower order finisher for India because he knows how to pace out an innings. And Devalt is, I don't know, 22, 21, 24? 22. When he's 25, 26, we're going to see this. So 2031 World Cup, that Devalt Brevis is going to be the best player in the world. Right now, it's like Virat Kohli. When Virat started, he was like this. He had his moments. Yes, he had high highs, not like Devalt. And his lows were very low. It was, but you kind of need to regulate that and then know that whatever situation you give me, setting or chasing, the most important thing with setting is you got to give yourself a chance to explode in the last 5 overs. Therefore, wickets are important. So once you've lost your 3rd wicket in the 30th over, you kind of need to ride the 30s to get to over 40, and then you can start slowly accelerating and hoping that you don't lose too many wickets to kind of, and kill it, right? Whereas a lot of teams are like, let's get to 35 and go. Sometimes it's 40. Sometimes it's 45, right? And to be 230 thing for 3, to only get to 270, that is an issue. And sometimes giving the opposition a chance is giving them your wicket. The idea that someone else behind you is going to do it, no. But yeah, happy to see him around. Like, I'm thinking of guys like Stubbs. Obviously, Tony played well, and Tony did a really good job. Miller, do we want Miller back in the side? I think at this present juncture, it would be a yes in 2027 in this format, especially with the way the top order is shaping up. Right? I think Miller would want to play in a team like this, and it's reminiscent of the batting that we had at the last World Cup. Yes, we failed, but we got to a semi-final. But Britsky and maybe Brevis give you something a little bit different. But I'm like South Africa's never had a problem in ODIs, right? And you can see that. Tony Dezorzi at 5, someone I didn't expect on my bingo card in 2025 as a number 5. Obviously, I thought he'd be fighting for the openers, but he was really good. He retired hurt in the second game, but he was, for all the money, all the things that you expected from him, he did.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought this at the beginning, but we definitely missed Tony in the final.
Yes.
We missed Tony's stability and ability to go up, and he can go up and down the gears in this format. He knows how to do it. We missed him in the final, no doubt about it.
Yeah. As Tim calls the final, it's a decider, but yes, I don't want you guys back. Oh, what final? You guys never been to World Cup final. We know. But we are World Test champions, so suck on that. Anyway.
Yes, there is that.
Okay. Marco the batter, Corbin the batter. Are these our new all-rounders? Is this it for us? There's no room for Vian. There's no room for Sen. Is this the axis we're living with right now?
For Vian, I'm afraid so. I really do think so. And you make a good point. I think when KG and Andre are back, it's going to be even more exposed, because people like Marco are going to go, you know what? I don't need to be the leader of this attack. I don't think it suits him to be a leader of an attack at this point of his career. It will come, but at this point of his career, it's not something he enjoys. So he will have less pressure as a bowler, and he will score more runs as a batter in this format when our big boys are back. We definitely missed Nandre at the final as well. I think so. I really do think so. Vian is still in the squad. He's still in and around the setup and in our thoughts, but in a positive.
You make it sound like Vian's in hospital. Like you'll always be in my thoughts, man.
But
he's in our thoughts and prayers.
But I think so. I think this is done.
Yeah.
Corbin has been absolutely sensational. Both facets, bat and ball. You want a few more runs from Marco, no doubt. He's going to go on a run when he makes three or four single scores. But there are going to be times when he makes 76 or 50, because he knows he can do that. We know he's got that capability. Can Vian do that in this format? I don't think so. I don't think he can be as destructive. So yes, for me, it's these two.
What Vian needs to do, he needs to look at what Tony Dezorzi's doing and try to see if he can't replicate that. But I think at this point in time, against quality bowling, his batting just goes into the wind. Yeah, and this is a guy who scored 367 runs earlier this year. And it's like Vian to me is like Sunelis, right? In the big moments, you will not see her at all. But give her a minnow. Give her an easy bowling attack. She will feast. And we want more against more quality. And to a certain extent, that's what's gotten him in this situation. Is that when we needed you, in the times we've needed you, and it's not his bowling is decent. It's just with the bat, when we've needed you the most, you've never arrived, especially with the white ball. Right? And I think he's still trying to figure himself out in T20s. But yeah, like I think, Vian's got a lot. Like to what? Like I think he's great in tests, and I think he's deserving of his place in the test match team.
Yeah.
But in ODIs, like I say, if you can figure out what Tony's doing well, moving up the gears, you're very talented. You are very talented, right? You're probably one of the most talented batters in South Africa. However, when he bats, it feels like he's unsure. Like he'll cover drive a ball to the boundary and like, yes. Then the next ball, he'll sit back, play off the back foot and just waft at it. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Right? Or he'll pull a ball and you're like, did you intend on doing that? And it's like clarity of thought that I need from Vian. But for now, yeah, he's out. Look, I'm happy for Corbin. I don't know if one is enough in Shukri's mind, then two. But on pitches that look like this, where spin's not going to be speaking to you a lot, you can carry a Corbin and a Marco with two other paces, i.e. Kagiso and Andre, Kagiso and Lungi, that type of vibe, right? But when you need a second spinner, can Sen do this? Do you do what you did in the test team, substitute Corbin for Sen, and get the same outcome?
Interesting.
Do you think so?
No. I don't think. I definitely don't think that Sen should be near the T20 setup. That's a
not T20 ODIs.
Yes, I know. It's a difficult one. My problem is there's definitely been an upturn in the batting. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But that's been in Test cricket. Am I going to get an upturn in runs in the ODI setup? I'm not convinced, because I think he's still a bit like Vian. He still gets a little bit unsure of the tempo when he comes into bat. So it's either throw everything at it, or it's rotate the strike in. I get the one, and the other guys must score with runs. I think he's sort of not quite sure of his role in terms of a batting front, and I think that's a problem. His bowling is fine in ODI cricket. I have no problem with that. But if you are expecting runs from him in ODI cricket, I'd seriously think again about that. I'd almost look elsewhere if you are adamant that runs must come from him in ODI cricket. I love Sen. He's a lovely guy. I love the hard work that he's put in, and it's being rewarded in the Test cricket format. I love it. It's fantastic. I'm just not convinced you're going to get the runs that you might need in ODI cricket. If you're going to ban him at 9 and say no, he doesn't need to make runs, fine, absolutely, no issues. He will do a job as a bowler, absolutely. He will do a perfectly good job. He can slow down the opposition, and in a good day, he will pick up a couple of wickets. Absolutely do a job. It's just whether you, as a team, need runs from him, and I'm not convinced that front of his is working as it should be.
And then one last thing. If you are Tristan Stubbs this morning, what are you thinking?
I'm going back at that side very, very soon.
For who?
Tony's injured. Let's see how long that injury is for Tony. That looks like it could be a while. I'm leaving very, very soon. Thank you very much. Not worried.
And what's your mentality when you come back in?
Dominate. Because he has to. He absolutely, if he comes into the 11, he's got to absolutely dominate in that middle order, because he must be seeing that there's a problem with that middle order at the moment. It is a problem. It's got to be dominate. It's got to be dominate in terms of not throw everything at it, but dominate isn't dominate the innings. I'm going to bat for 30 overs. Not for 8 or 10. I'm going to bat for 30 overs, and I'm going to make as many runs as I can in that space of time. He can leave the circus to the T20 stuff. Then he can go to town. But in this format, he's got to actually build an innings. All these guys build an innings. It's Fian, it's Brevis, it's Stubbs. Build an innings in this format, and you will stay. You will stay. Miller is going to retire in 18 months to 2 years. As in, after that World Cup, I do not see David Miller being in this format. I could be wrong. He could go on till he's 40. I personally don't see it. There is a place in there. Take it.
Okay. Yeah, Dezozi has a hamstring, and he's been ruled out of the T20 as well. So that's going to be interesting for him, largely because it was his opportunity to actually make the World Cup. It's in February. I think he had a seat that was a squad seat, right? And, could have actually done something there. So that's going to be interesting enough. I'm just looking at the squad there. I think you might see a lot of George Linder batting at the top of the order. Well, middle order.
Well, there's also if we're talking T20s, it's also Sapamla's in for Mpaka.
Yeah. So that's also a very interesting one, actually. But we'll talk about it as the T20. They've got 5 T20s. We're going to be talking about them all the way through as we get along. So, yeah, good luck to the Proteas in the T20s. Let me just get you those fixtures there before we close out the show and do domestic stuff. They play tomorrow in the first T20 in Cuttack, and then they play on Thursday in Chandigarh. And they play on Sunday in Dharamshala, and Wednesday in Lucknow, and Ahmedabad on Friday next week. All games starting 3:30 p.m. South African time. So, yeah, do check those out. That is the end of our little Protea situation. Now we go to the domestic game. We've got a full house of games, 4 Division 1 4-day games, and 3, but the third one is next week, Division 2 games before we get into SA20. So just to give you a sense of another round, I know Tim did put up the relegation. This is what the relegation log looks like now. But obviously, some wins, some teams are going to win and some teams are going to move up with this. But from a 4-day series perspective, still a long way to go. We're getting to like midway. After this will be midway, and then we're going to resume at the end of January. So the games are starting tomorrow in Division 1 for the final round. The Tuskers take on Western Province at 9 a.m. in Pietermaritzburg. That's going to be a draw. We all know that. The Lions take on Boerland, the winners or the runners-up in the T20 Challenge, at the Wanderers. The Lions will be looking for revenge. Remember, Boerland beat them at home in the T20 Challenge. They defended 130 at the Wanderers. That was just wild. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. In Centurion, it's the Titans taking on the Dolphins at 10 a.m. at Centurion. And then in Potchefstroom, the Dragons, the Northwest Dragons or East Vaal Reno, Northwest Dragons are taking on the Dufferbed Warriors in Potch. So a lot of games on the Highveld with all this rain around, but that's fine. So it is December time. The kids need something to do. Just drive them to the stadium. You two go work from the stadium. Go watch these guys. There'll be a couple of Proteas floating in and around here. So it's also an awesome opportunity to see. Rix might play. Who knows if he makes it in time. Do go out and look that. And then on the 11th, which is Thursday, Division 2 plays. Northern Cape Heat host the Free State Knights, the Knights in Kimberley, and Limpopo, the Impalas host the Inyati, the Inyati in Polokwane both matches starting at 10 a.m. And then on the 18th, which is next week, Thursday, the Garden Route Badgers take on the Inyati to close out domestic cricket for 2025. They'll be back again, like the Division 2 plays on like the 8th of Jan again, but that'll be it. So those are the ones that you can look out for, all available on CSA's YouTube channel. Do check it out. If not, go to the stadiums. If you're in Polokwane, go watch. If you are in Kimberley for home for the holidays, go watch at the Diamond Oval. If you are at the Wanderers, Centurion, or Potch, please go and watch there. It is holiday time. You're finished with your exams. You're closing out at work. They won't miss you. And then if you're also there in Pietermaritzburg, please do go out and watch. Tim, any final words before we go?
It's a nonsense that the players get the same holiday as school children. That the players are not in SA20. It's a nonsense, and it needs to stop. It really does need to stop.
Well, technically, if the Proteas were playing cricket in December, they'd also get school holidays. So, yeah, it's been a nonsense for the last however long it's been. But I get you. Finishing this season, the domestic season, on the 14th of December. I miss the days when we used to play CSA Pro 20 until the 16th or 17th or the 20th, and then everyone went home for Christmas. But yeah, times are changing, Tim. But it's been a great podcast.
Yeah,
let us know what you think. Yes, please let us know what you think on all the topics. Yes, it's a really good Monday. Well done to the Proteas women. Can you keep on bossing Ireland in the ODIs? Oh, those ODIs are still going. We've got one more T20 that's on Wednesday. They're playing Benoni at 6 p.m. So please do go check it out. Then East London on Saturday for the ODIs. Rebecca on Tuesday for the ODIs. And then here at the Wanderers for a day-night match. And I expect to see you there. Come and say hi to me, high-five me, because I will be at that game. And I hope the Proteas women bat first. Outside of that, from myself, Mpho and Tim, it's goodbye. Remember, follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And then Apple Podcasts and Spotify, South African Cricket Pod, you'll find us there. Growing community. Come guys, we're doing it. And then finally, and lastly, please do buy some coffee. The QR codes are on your screen. Please use them. If not, go to buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod. Remember also, if you like us, tell us you like us at sacricketpod@gmail.com. If you hate us, also tell us.
Yeah, if you have any questions, we have had questions on a different platform, but if you have any questions, send it to that email address. Any questions?
Yeah, when we get downtime, we're going to talk about what we see in ODI batting and Test cricket batting. But for now, this is the end of the podcast. Have a good day, everyone. Or good evening, because you'll see it at 6 p.m. We're recording at 2 minutes to 8 in the morning on a Monday. So, yeah, have a good one and good luck. Enjoy all the cricket. This is what December is supposed to be. For ourselves and Tim, it's goodbye and lesale.